To build the Ram Mandir in Ayodhya, millions of ordinary people gave whatever they had, a local farmer donating a significant portion of his hard-earned harvest profits, a mother cutting back on household expenses to save up notes. People stood in line for hours, motivated by pure faith, trusting that their life savings were going straight to the deity. To protect that staggering influx of cash, an entire institutional fortress was constructed. We are talking about state-of-the-art counting rooms, continuous CCTV surveillance managed by TCS, and oversight from the State Bank of India. However, within this supposedly impenetrable fortress, millions of rupees in cash, physical gold, and temple land were systematically siphoned out. It was a failure that began deep inside the organization. The legal foundation for this lack of transparency was set in February 2020. When the government formed the trust to manage the money, they structured it as a completely autonomous body, effectively operating like a private entity, despite its public-facing role. This autonomous status meant the trust was legally exempt from the Right to Information Act. If a citizen wants to know exactly how much money came in or where it went, the trust has the legal power to refuse the inquiry. By removing the public's ability to use RTI and filling the board with political loyalists, the government created a system where massive sums of money could move without any outside visibility. The cracks in this system appeared early. By November 2020, 7 months into the donation drive, the trust brought in a private audit firm to review their processes. The auditors issued a severe warning. The financial management was unprofessional, lacked secondary checks, and was entirely vulnerable to theft. Trust leadership suppressed this report. Instead of implementing the recommended safeguards, they allowed the daily cash counting to continue for years without standard operating procedures or an internal audit website. When it came time to staff the highly sensitive secure counting room and cash transit teams, they ignored professional hiring protocols. Instead of qualified bank officers, the trust pressured the State Bank of India to accept their hand-picked candidates. These were 12 to 20,000 rupee a month jobs handling millions in daily cash. The positions went to personal drivers, nephews, and brothers-in-law of the trust's own executives, people with direct personal ties to the leadership but no background checks. This staffing strategy removed the possibility of independent oversight. The counting room was effectively turned over to a network of insiders whose primary loyalty was to the trust members who secured their jobs. The theft began with simple coordination. Inside the counting room, local guards knew exactly where the camera blind spots were. While a few would stand up to block the CCTV angles, others shoved stacks of 500 rupee notes into their pockets. They would hide the cash in the adjacent washrooms and split it up at the end of the day. As security guards multiplied, they had to get creative. When counting the donation boxes, workers sort mixed bills into distinct bundles of 100 notes. If a bundle contains 100 500 rupee notes, it equals 50,000 rupees. The guards started packing 120 actual notes into a single stack, while officially logging the wrapper as a standard 100-count bundle. On paper, everything looked correct. The ledger showed a 50,000 rupee bundle. But while transporting these stacks from the temple to the bank, the couriers simply skimmed the extra 20 notes. When the bundle finally hit the bank teller's desk, it held exactly 100 notes, perfectly matching the tampered receipt. Skimming raw cash was only the first layer. The trust executives also used donated funds to execute severely inflated real estate deals for the temple's expansion. In one transaction from May 2021, intermediaries purchased a plot of land for 2 crore rupees. Exactly 10 minutes later, the trust bought that same piece of land from them for 18.5 crore. An 800% markup paid for with devotee donations in under an hour. Physical assets were handled with even less scrutiny. Donors handed over hundreds of kilos of silver bricks and gold jewelry directly to trust staff. Because no receipts were ever issued, these assets were never added to an official record, allowing them to be removed from the site without a trace. The operation targeted every available vulnerability, moving from raw cash skimming on the floor to the manipulation of multi-crore real estate contracts in the boardroom. The entire operation finally unraveled in late May 2026. Suspicious bank officials installed hidden cameras inside the counting room. They captured the guards actively stuffing cash into their clothes, and whistleblowers leaked the footage to public leaders. Looking at this seized cash, you start to understand the scale of the illicit wealth. Police raided the homes of the temple workers earning 12,000 rupees a month and found two-story mansions, luxury SUVs, and massive stockpiles of cash and international currency. The resulting investigation faced immediate roadblocks. By the time detectives arrived, over 180 days of mandated CCTV footage had already been deleted from the temple servers. The officer in charge of those 1,600 cameras, who had been in his post for 17 years, was abruptly relocated before he could be questioned. When the Special Investigation Team finally completed its preliminary report, they submitted it to Additional Chief Secretary Sanjay Prasad. This creates a severe conflict of interest, as Sanjay Prasad is a member of the very trust being investigated. Currently, the drivers and local guards are in jail, bearing the public weight of the scandal. However, the senior officials who managed the hiring and suppressed the audit reports face no such consequences. A system built on public donations cannot run on blind faith. Until the legal loopholes are closed, RTI is reinstated, and independent audits are published for the public to see, the hard-earned devotion of millions remains highly exposed.